In Roman mythology, Juturna was the goddess of fountains, wells, and springs. At York University in Toronto, it's a project that supports community-based environmental monitoring. The Juturna project is based out of the Spatial, Environmental and Action Research Lab at York University's Faculty of Environmental Studies. It's free and open source software that distributes geospatial information tools over the World Wide Web. Users of the Juturna WebGIS system are people who have been trained to establish water quality monitoring stations and to collect data from small streams following a protocol developed by the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. The frequency of the organisms that they collect can tell us whether or not a stream is stressed or impaired at that point. The Juturna WebGIS system provides tools that allow users to locate a monitoring station on a map, to upload data associated with that station, to share the data, to analyze the data, and to produce reports that indicate whether or not the stream is impaired. You can access the Juturna WebGIS online. Currently, the Juturna project supports the water quality monitoring program Changing Currents, operated by the environmental NGO EcoSpark.
The Changing Currents program is split into two different parts. The first part is a teacher training component. Each year, EcoSpark takes all the teacher participants and trains them in how to do benthic biomonitoring with their students. The second part of the program is an EcoSpark staff facilitated workshop where we actually take students to their local stream and they're engaged in stream monitoring. At the end of that session, EcoSpark staff go through the students' data and actually look at the bugs that they've collected to verify the identity of the bugs. All of the data that the students collect is put on juturna.ca as well as the EcoSpark website.
In a web browser, a user is presented with this view of the Juturna WebGIS. It has several main components. There's a header bar at the top and functions to find geographic locations, to log into the system, access help files, display or hide watershed polygons and watershed names. There is also an interactive map viewer. This is a Google mashup in which watershed polygons and water quality monitoring stations are displayed. The color of the station marker indicates whether or not stream health may be impaired at that location. Juturna uses a Google mashup as the map viewer to reduce the data burden on organizations. On the left side of the map viewer is a tabbed window used to access a list of monitoring stations and watersheds. Below is a details pane where information and functions associated with a selected watershed or monitoring station appear. And if logged in as an administrator, system administration functions. There are several useful things that a public user can do with the Juturna WebGIS system. For example, they might be interested to know if there's a monitoring station near them and whether their local streams are impaired. Here, a user is locating their neighborhood, zooming in to get a closer look, and selecting a monitoring station. Once a monitoring station is selected, a public user can download data for the station in an Excel file, or for all stations in a watershed. Or a user can produce a report that presents the data and its analysis in a PDF file. A monitoring station report contains metadata about the monitoring station, photos or site sketches, 2 location maps at different scales, riparian and stream bed characteristics, water chemistry data if that was collected, benthic macroinvertebrate data, application of water quality indices to the data, and an overall assessment of the stream health based on the benthos data. Registered users and administrator users can create monitoring stations and upload data. Here's an example that assumes that I've just collected data at a monitoring station in the Upper West Don River in Toronto. First, I locate the Upper West Don River by selecting that sub-watershed in the Watershed Tree and Details panel. Then, I zoom in to find the location I need. Now, I right-click at the location and select Create a New Station from the menu that appears. To add data to the station, I select the new icon, fill out some identifying information, and then I can enter metadata and photos or scans of site sketches, enter benthic data, and enter water chemistry data. Users who want to learn how to do this can find out by accessing the system help file. There are also administrative functions that will allow system administrators to manage users and data and to change the geographic location of the monitoring area by removing and adding watershed boundary shape files. The Juturna WebGIS is free and open source software that has been released under GNU General Public License. It incorporates other open source software, notably PostgreSQL, PostGIS, and runs on the Ubuntu operating system. The primary programming language and development environment is Ruby on Rails with some JavaScript and Ajax. After an initial pilot that employed proprietary software and data, and which was supported by the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, the Juturna system was entirely redeveloped in 2006 as free and open source software. Since that time, it's been supported by a couple of small research grants by the Ontario Ministry of Environment through the Canada-Ontario Agreement respecting the Great Lakes Basin ecosystem. If you're interested in the development of this project, you can find a paper that describes the iterative development cycle and user-centered design approach that we employed in Volume 6 of the OzGeo Journal.